October 27, 1962. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, a Soviet submarine was surrounded by American warships. Explosions were happening outside the vessel. Inside, the crew believed World War III had already started. What the Americans didn't know was that the submarine carried a nuclear torpedo, a weapon as powerful as the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The captain made a terrifying decision: launch the nuclear weapon. 2 officers agreed, but 1 man refused, and his decision may have saved the world. His name was Vasily Arkhipov. In October 1962, the world was closer to nuclear war than ever before. This moment became known as the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Soviet Union had secretly placed nuclear missiles in Cuba. The United States discovered them and demanded they be removed. Both sides prepared for war. Nuclear bombers were ready. Missiles were prepared. The world waited in fear. During this crisis, the Soviet Union sent nuclear submarines toward Cuba. One of them was submarine B-59. Inside were exhausted sailors. The submarine had been underwater for days. Temperatures inside reached over 45 degrees Celsius. The air was thick with carbon dioxide. Communication with Moscow had been lost. The crew had no idea what was happening on the surface. Then, suddenly, American destroyers found the submarine. They began dropping small practice depth charges. These were meant as warning signals, but the Soviet crew didn't know that. Inside the submarine, it sounded like war had begun. Explosions shook the vessel. Lights flickered. Men prepared for death. The submarine captain believed war had already started. He believed Moscow might already be destroyed. He believed they might be the last survivors, and he gave an order: prepare the nuclear torpedo. This weapon could destroy an entire fleet. Launching it could trigger nuclear war, but Soviet protocol required agreement from 3 officers. The captain said yes. The political officer said yes. Only 1 man remained: Vasily Arkhipov. Arkhipov did something rare in that moment. He stayed calm. He questioned the situation. He argued that they had no proof war had started. He believed the Americans might only be signaling them to surface. But tension inside the submarine was extreme. Heat, fear, exhaustion, anger. The captain wanted to launch. The political officer agreed. Arkhipov stood alone. Accounts say Arkhipov argued intensely. He refused to authorize the launch. Minutes passed in heated debate. The fate of millions depended on that argument. Finally, Arkhipov convinced the captain to wait. Instead of launching the nuclear torpedo, the submarine surfaced. Historians believe if that torpedo had launched, American ships would have been destroyed. The United States would likely have responded with nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union would respond, and full nuclear war could begin. All from one decision, deep underwater. The submarine surfaced. American ships surrounded it, but no nuclear weapon was launched. No war began. The crisis eventually ended peacefully, but for many years, this story remained secret. The world never knew how close it came to disaster. Unlike famous leaders, Vasily Arkhipov received little recognition. He did not become globally famous. He did not become rich. He simply returned to his duties. But historians now believe his calm decision prevented nuclear war, a war that could have killed millions, maybe even changed human history forever. History often remembers the men who start wars, but sometimes the real heroes are the ones who refuse to start them. One decision, one calm mind, one moment of courage, and the world kept turning. If you enjoy true stories where one decision changed history, make sure you subscribe, because history is full of moments like this, where disaster was only seconds away, and the next story might be even more unbelievable.